Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us for another episode of the Q&A show, the show where we discuss everything from religion to your health to your finances. And today, we are privileged to be able to talk about personal development. And in our studio, we have management expert extraordinaire, Dr.Everlyn, Dr.Everlyn. Would you like to say hi?
Thank you very much, Pastor Heri, for having me online. Hello, viewers. I'm happy to be here.
Wonderful. Today we are going to be taken through SWOT analysis as a personal development tool. SWOT analysis as a personal development tool. Now, quick quote from Brian Tracy, because you know I love starting the show with a quote. Personal development is a major time saver. The better you become, the less time it takes you to achieve your goals. So personal development is important for you to achieve your goals. It is a time saver. And that is why we want to dive in straight to SWOT analysis. That word has been thrown here and there and everywhere. But please tell us, what is SWOT analysis?
Thank you very much, Pastor Heri, for that. Now, when I talk about a SWOT, let me just start with the word SWOT before I get to analysis. Now, SWOT is actually an acronym. S standing for strengths, W for weaknesses, O for opportunities, and T for threats. Now, a SWOT analysis is a tool that is mostly used by organizations or companies to try and analyze themselves, analyze their competitors, and thereafter develop strategies to try and move the organization forward or to achieve organizational success. However, a SWOT can also be utilized by individuals. It can also be utilized by maybe groups of people. Just so anybody who wants to achieve a given goal can be able to utilize a SWOT analysis.
All right, so it is a tool that you can use to be able to just analyze the different aspects and see how you can be better. But what did you say? It is an acronym. So what's the S, the W, the O, the T?
I have said before, there are SWOTs, there are the strengths, and there are the weaknesses. Now, when you start the S and O, which is the S and W, which is the strengths and weaknesses, we are saying these are the internal factors or the internal attributes. These are attributes that is already, there are things that are already within the organization that the organization has control over. For example, we can talk about an organization like Safaricom. They have good employees, they have resources, they have the monetary, financial, these. So what is it that they already have within themselves? Now, but however, when you're looking at their weaknesses, we are trying to figure out, of all these employees, for example, do they have some employees who are not yet trained? Then you can say, yes, they have many employees, but most of them are not trained. Then that becomes their weakness. So we are looking at things that are within them, but some of them work for them, but others may not work for them. So we are looking at strengths and weaknesses. We are saying these are internal factors that the organization, the individual, or the group will have control over.
All right, so strengths as a positive, clearly. Virtues or things that you have within yourself or a company, and the weaknesses are they're available resources but they're unutilized. Let's say that I have a talent but it is unutilized. That way it is a weakness. So weakness is not necessarily that you do not have a specific skill, it's that you have it but you are not utilizing it.
Very true. That's nice. Very true. Yeah.
All right, so that's the S and the W, and that is all internal. So that means there must be something external. Would that be the O and the T? What are those?
Yes, the O and the T are actually external attributes. And we are saying these are within the environment. They are out there. You may not know about them or you may already know about them. Now O stands for the opportunities and T stands for the threats. Now when you're looking at the opportunities, we are saying that these are factors that may be available to you that you might use or that you might take advantage if you are to achieve certain goals. Opportunities are things that you have not yet exploited. They're there and you have not taken advantage of them. However, threats are also there, but they are things that are almost competing with you for the same resources, for the same maybe goals that you're looking out for, and therefore they pose a threat to you. They try to hinder you from achieving the goals that you have been able to set.
They say opportunity waits for no man, no man. And luck is nothing but opportunity meeting preparation. So people, let us learn what this whole SWOT is. That means that we need to deal with our internal factors, the strengths, the weaknesses, and also be cognizant, be aware of these external factors, which are the opportunities and the threats. Really nice. That has been a nice introduction. I am already enlightened. I'm not sure about you viewers. And we want to thank you, by the way, for taking your time to watch this show. Please, if you are watching, let us know. Write your name, where you're watching from, put a comment there. We appreciate you. We shall be back shortly after a break. Still continue with us on the Q&A show. If you are just joining us right now, my name is Pastor Heri and we are here with Dr.Everlyn, and she is a management expert. We are talking about SWOT analysis as a personal development tool. Now, before the break, we had this explanation of what SWOT is. Strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. Right now, Dr. please tell us, how do I use this SWOT for personal development? Are there steps? Are there measures? Are there techniques? How do I use it?
Very true. I had said earlier that it is a tool that is mostly used by organizations to try and achieve some goals or to try and develop some successes. However, as an individual, this tool is also available to us that we can be able to take advantage of. Now, I want to try and explain to you 5 steps in which you are going to use this tool. If I'm going to do a SWOT analysis to be able to better myself, because I say you want to develop myself, then I am going to do it in 5 steps. Now, the first step being, you must be able to identify the goal that you want to achieve.
Okay.
What is it that you want to achieve? Now, when you're developing this goal, you must remember the acronym SMART, that your goals should always be SMART. Now, SMART means they must be measurable, they must be specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time-bound. Now, when you're doing your goal, here we are simply saying that a very specific goal becomes easier to achieve. An example, somebody might say, my goal is to lose weight. Now, that's a very general goal. Or my goal is to become healthy. That's too general. So when you have very general goals, it becomes quite difficult to achieve them. So a more specific goal would have been, for example, I want to lose 10 kgs by the end of 2 months. Now that's very specific.
Yes.
So the first step that you must do is to develop a goal. Identify the goal that you want to achieve. Now as a young student, you might say, for example, I want to improve my grades. I have been achieving maybe grade C in general, but I want to move it to grade B. And that's very, very specific. So your goal must be specific for you to be able to get it right.
I think you have just undone the secret of why New Year's resolutions never work, because they're always general. What do you write? Write, I want to buy a car. I want to lose weight. It is so not specific. Thank you. Finally, now we know why the resolutions don't work. All right, what else about goals?
What about?
Anything else about goals? They have to be specific. We talked about specific.
They have to be very, very specific. They have to be measurable. For example, I've said 5 kilos. I want to lose 5 kilos. You can measure 5 kilos. You can go into it and be able to measure them. They have to be achievable. Is it something that you're really able to achieve? You cannot say, I want to lose 10 kilos in one day. That cannot work. Is it realistic? and is it time bound? So you can give yourself that time period within which to achieve it.
All right, so step 1 is make sure that you identify a goal and that it is a SMART goal.
Very true.
All right, what is step 2?
Step 2, now you start using the SWOT tool. Remember we had talked about the 2 internals, which is the strengths and the weaknesses.
Right.
So you start with the strengths. Looking at the goal that you have identified, you go down and list all the strengths that you already have. For example, if yours was to lose your goals, then what already do you have? Do you have the time? Do you have maybe the opportunity to go to a gym? Do you have a trainer? If you want anything that you need for you to achieve that particular goal. So you start by listing them all down. So that becomes your strength. So you put it in the first quadrant, you write all the strengths that you have that you can be able to use to achieve that particular goal.
Okay,
Yes.
all right. Step 3 rather.
Step 3 is now you go to your weaknesses. Yes, you have the strengths, but you also realize that you might have weaknesses. Now use the example of the student again. Now look at this student who says, I want to move from grade C to grade B by the end of 2020. Now, maybe your strengths would have been, I am already doing well in this subject. My strength is, I'm already in school, so I have the opportunity. My other strength is, I have available resources. But my weaknesses, what is it that is hindering you from achieving that grade that you really want to achieve? So maybe one of your weaknesses would be, so your step 2 is to try and list down all the weak points that are stopping you from achieving the goal that you have set. An example, for example, might say, I am not doing enough exercise in certain subjects. So that's a weakness.
Okay.
Or that I'm simply lazing around and I'm not doing enough to be able to achieve the goal that I really give. So you list down all the weaknesses that are stopping you from achieving that particular goal.
And remember that Taya told us that weaknesses is not necessarily something that you lack. It is something that is available to you, but you are just not making use of it. For example, the way we've been told about the student. So the books are available to you, but you're just not reading it. You have access to your teacher, but you're not using your teacher as a resource. So weaknesses. So all right, so step 1, make sure that you have a goal and that it is SMART, a SMART goal. 2, we make sure we list our strengths in a quadrant. And then step 3 is weaknesses. That is to do with the internal. Now let us go to the external.
Before I go to the external, maybe I want to put something right on that. Remember when you're talking about the first 2, these are things that you have a lot of control over. They're things that you can be able to do with ease because you have the abilities to do them, but maybe you've just not been able to do them. So the first 2, strengths and weaknesses, are things that you can be able to convert easily to become a point for you to achieve that particular goal.
Then within your sphere of influence, you have power, you have control over them, you can actually do something about them.
Very true.
Okay.
Very true. Now the 4th step will be opportunities. Opportunities, what are my opportunities? The same issue that you did with the first 2 steps, you have to list down. Yes, I have set a goal. My goal is maybe to get a job by December 2020. What are the opportunities out there? So you look out for the opportunities. You might be looking out for them maybe in the newspapers, maybe with friends. What is it that is available out there that I really need to take advantage of? What is it that is there that might make me achieve that particular goal? Do I have the right qualifications? If I don't have the right qualifications, then I need to go back to school. Then that becomes an opportunity for you.
Right, and in this day and age, opportunities are endless because we have the internet, you have your networks. There's so many ways that you can find different opportunities that you can be able to, if it is learn a skill or to meet new people, even if it is meeting people online through sites like LinkedIn or Twitter, where you can meet professionals and actually network and garner skills, or learn a course through courses like Coursera, then I think opportunities right now, they're really endless. So at least on that score, we should be able to better ourselves.
Very true.
Right, what about now point number 5, threats?
Now threats are those things that will inhibit your chances of achieving that goal. What is it that might stop me? Yes, I really want to get that job, but what is it that is not enabling me to get that job? Then you again look out and figure out and say, for example, I want to get a sales and marketing job, but what is my threat? The threat is there's only one job out there, but there may be 20 or 30 people competing for the same job. So those become your threats, because they're also looking up to get that particular job. So how do I better myself so that this threat cannot be a hindrance for me to be able to get the whatever I'm looking out to achieve?
So threats, external, and it is what can impede you from achieving your goal. But you have concluded by saying that, then you just go back to the strengths and the weaknesses and opportunities and see what you can do to kind of mitigate.
Very true.
Really, really good. We want to go to our second break. Before that, let me leave you with a quote by Waldo Emerson. And he says, the only person you are destined to become is the person that you decide to be. You have the power to decide who you would like to be by working on your strengths, weaknesses, taking advantage of all opportunities available, and trying to mitigate the threats around you as much as you can. We will be back after a break. Remember to leave a comment, write your name, where you're watching from. Thank you so much for staying with us during this show.
How do you know if you are pursuing the right goals? Of all the paths, of all the directions you could be taking in life, how can you analyze which goals are a good fit? One way is by conducting a SWOT analysis. This is a decision tool that helps you evaluate your strengths and weaknesses, as well as determine if there are any opportunities or threats. To apply the tool, you start with a goal in mind. The more specific you can be in describing the goal, the better. Then, you list your strengths and weaknesses. These are characteristics internal to you or your organization that provide a relative advantage or disadvantage over any potential competitors or barriers to achieving your goal. Opportunities or threats are things that are generally outside of your control. They are external to you or your organization. These are things that you are looking to either exploit or avoid. A simple example is the common goal to open a restaurant. Maybe you have Grandma's secret recipe for pot roast. That is a strength. But Grandma never taught you how to make desserts, and this might place you at a disadvantage relative to similar restaurants. That is a weakness. An opportunity might be a recent drop in the real estate market. If you're going to open a restaurant, now is the time. But there's also talk of a local hike in the minimum wage. That is a potential threat. Using SWOT allows you to look at the goal and make some strategic decisions. How can you address your weaknesses? Can you learn to make desserts? Maybe you can hire someone or use a nearby bakery. To address the possible threat,
We have just finished talking about how we can use the SWOT for personal development. The steps, there are 5 steps. We're told, first of all, make sure that you set a goal and that goal is SMART. It is specific, measurable, it is attainable, it is realistic and time bound. Otherwise, that's why you never achieve your New Year's resolutions. If you've never known why, now you know why. Then we went to point number 2, which was strengths. What abilities do you have in yourself that you can utilize to get you where you need to go? Then weaknesses, what do you have? What are your weaknesses? What are also available skills, but you're not utilizing them? Those are all internal, and Dr. reminded us that we have control over that. Then we talked about opportunities. Those are things that are around us externally, but we can take charge of them and use them. And threats, things that impede us from reaching our goals. Now we want to look at strategies after the SWOT. I have done my SWOT. What now?
Okay, before we go to the strategies, I also want to put a point, a rider, and say that you will have listed all your strengths, all your weaknesses, all your opportunities, and all your threats.
Yeah.
Now go back and try to arrange them. Go back to those strengths and try to bring out which are your better strengths, especially for the ones that you're going to use to achieve this particular goal. So list them according to their priority. Prioritize them, reorganize them. Figure out and say this is not even a good strength, so maybe I might not even need it here. So try to figure out what really works for you. And then look at the weaknesses and figure out what you really can be able to work on as quickly as possible. In terms of threats, the same thing. So you can figure out what is my threat. For example, if maybe competition is my threat, how do I be able to go about it? So look out for the list that you have put in. try to shorten that list by trying to summarize it and coming up with even better points so that you can be able to now start working on the strategies. Now, once you have your table or your list of priorities or prioritized list, then now you can be able to develop strategies. Now, the essence of SWOT analysis was to analyze yourself first, look at your internal and look at your external. Now you already know that. Now, for you to develop strategies, you have two options. Number one, we call it the matching strategies. You can use it to match. What are you going to match? You can, for example, look at the strengths that you have and match them to the opportunities. Yes, I was looking to achieve this goal, but I have this strength. Now, what opportunities are out there? Do I have the strengths that can be matched to the opportunities that are out there in the market? Then I can be able to use my strength to achieve that particular goal. Maybe I wanted a sales and marketing job, but I realized that's not what I have as a strength. I have trained in something different, so that's my strength. So I use my strength to look out for the opportunities that are out there and try to match them. You can also use the same matching strategy to match your weaknesses to your threats. How? You look at the strengths, and then you look at your weaknesses and try to avoid those things that you are able to, like for example, if they are your weaknesses, and for example, one of your threats could be a competitor. How do I take advantage of this competition to turn it around and make it maybe something that is going to work for me? So what is going to happen is, for example, you can have a competitor, you are competing for a given maybe job or something like that, but you can choose to work with the same people to become an advantage to you. So you can be able to look at it as something that you have been able to match. Now, if you're not going to use the matching strategy, then you can use the converting strategy. Now, when you're talking about the converting strategies, we are saying you convert your threats to opportunities, and you can also convert your weaknesses to become your strengths. Now, the same thing is you look at what you had already listed. Now, if one of my strengths was like I'm already doing well in certain subjects, then my weakness is that I'm not doing well in certain subjects. Then I can try to convert and say the ones I'm already doing well, I'll stay there, but the ones I'm not doing well, I make them to become my strengths. So the essence of doing SWOT analysis and developing the strategies is to try to maximize on your strengths, to try to maximize on your opportunities, and try to divert the weaknesses and the threats so that they can be able to, you neutralize them as opposed to keeping them there.
It's all about mitigating. So I match my strengths with my weaknesses, or I convert my opportunities with my threats.
Very true.
That's basically it. Thank you so much. I don't know if you have been enlightened by this program, but I sure have, and I am totally applying all of this SWOT analysis. If you have not done a SWOT analysis, please, after this show, can you make 4 quadrants? 4 quadrants and do that SWOT analysis. By the time this COVID-19 period is ending, we want to see you emerging as a better person. Personal growth is very key. It is very important. We are now coming to the end of our show. We're ever so thankful that Dr. Everlyn took her time to be here. Would you have any closing remarks?
Yes, I think I would really want to appreciate and thank you for the opportunity to be here to talk to the young people out there. And I would say this is not just for the young people. Anybody can do a SWOT analysis at whatever phase. You don't have to do a SWOT analysis once. You can do it for every other goal that you want to be able to achieve. And above all, as Christians, we are reminded that in all things that we want to do, we can be able to achieve them. In Philippians 4:13, we are told, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. So what I would say is that don't be afraid. Don't figure out that these are my weaknesses and I cannot do nothing against them. I can do nothing about them. So please be able to just pick up the pen, list down as we have been able to tell you, and take it up and then submit it all to God. Thank you.
Thank you. People say that growth is inevitable. You must grow, but you can determine how you grow. According to Abraham Maslow, one can choose to go back towards safety or forward toward growth. Growth must be chosen again and again, and fear must be overcome again and again. So today, choose to use these tools that we have been given, this SWOT analysis. Use it as a tool that you may be able to develop yourself on a personal level. Thank you so much for tuning in. I have been your host, Pastor Heri. Our guest, Dr. Everlyn. Thank you so much for tuning in.
Thank you so much.
See you next Wednesday, same time.
God bless you. Thank you.
above all powers, above all